Our first guests tonight are members of one of those families where if you haven't starred in at least one major motion picture, they kick you out. They make you go sit out on the lawn. They play the same character at different ages who's on the hunt for Godzilla in the new series Monarch, Legacy of Monsters. It premieres Friday on Apple TV+. Please welcome Kurt and Wyatt Russell. Fun, right? I was saying, I don't think we've had a father and son on there. Now, Eugene Levy and his son Dan have been on the show, but it was during COVID. It was remote. You guys are the first guys, I think.
Oh, nice.
Nice. We've had mother and son.
Yeah, that's nice.
We've had husband and wife. We've had all sorts of combinations. And am I correct when I say that, is there anyone in your, immediate family that is not an actor?
The best actor is probably not an actor.
He's the best actor in
Is
the
that
family.
true?
I realize that. He's a therapist. Boston.
Boston. My
Yeah,
brother Boston.
he's a hell of a therapist.
Well, that's nice to have.
One.
Boy, at the holidays, with a family full of actors, to have a therapist at the table is kind of a must, I guess, really, huh?
Yeah.
And this is, Kurt, this is how you would hoped and imagined it would go, that the family would follow in your footsteps, yours and Goldie's?
You know, it's funny, but everybody goes their own separate ways, and then they go off in whatever direction. He went in the same direction I did, professional sports. And,
That's right. You guys, you played minor league baseball.
Yeah.
You played minor league hockey, right?
Yeah. And we both got hurt at pretty much the exact same time.
almost the same age.
Yeah. And we're doing well.
Yeah. Katie, and I think she, in many ways, took after Goldie. Went the same direction, did a lot of the same things she did with dancing, and then went into acting. And Oliver had a different path. He actually went to college.
Oh, yeah. He did call them and say, "I'm wasting your money. Get me out. I'm coming home." And he started working.
He went to Colorado.
Yeah, see.
I noticed he's starting to watch Colorado games again now.
Yeah, right.
Because Dion's there.
Interesting. So you guys, when being both doing that athletics professionally, you're professional athletes. Do you hockey and baseball? Who is the crazier group of guys based on your experiences?
Yeah, I mean, you got to be they have a couple wires really loose to do what you got to do in hockey.
To play hockey?
To play hockey, and there's a lot of stories you can tell about hockey players off the ice that you can't tell on television. But one that I could really confidently say was 80s, 70s, 80s. So it wasn't yesterday.
Okay.
But this is how what's a hockey player like? Well, this is what a hockey player's like. Dude who's from about Saskatchewan, which is a place in Canada where not very many people live, but a lot of good hockey players come from. And he was drunk at a frat party at a school that will remain unnamed.
Okay.
And he goes, my legs are so strong, I bet you can't run over them with a truck. That's a Canadian Saskatoon accent. And so the guy was like, okay, let's give it a shot. So the guy lays down, puts it in first, truck rolls over his legs. Truck wins. But in the heartwarming part of the story, which makes me love hockey players, if you get hurt off the ice, you don't get your scholarship money, right? You have to get hurt on the ice. Insurance, they will pay for it if you get hurt on the ice, doing what you're there to do a scholarship for. They pick up the guy. He's got a broken kneecap and, he's barely conscious. They go to the rink. They have a key to the rink, get him dressed, throw him onto the ice, throw him into the boards. And he got hurt on the ice. And they called the ambulance to the rink, picked him up, guy kept his scholarship, nobody asked questions. This was 1979, but that's how I'd explain hockey.
Nobody ran him over with the Zamboni at the end?
What the tire track's all about.
They probably should have.
Nothing like that in baseball, huh?
No. They're a little different breed. There was a million stories, but one I always stuck with me sort of went into the psychology of a lot of ball players. There was this one guy who was a pitcher, and he just had a little thing for soap operas. Oh. So he just watched soap operas all the time. I can't remember which one it was, got canceled, and he just lost it. And he wanted, but I was an actor also, so he was on me all the time. Like, what? How did this happen? Who do I talk to? Who do I call? So he couldn't get rid of it. And a couple nights he's pitching, and he's having a rough time. They're hitting him pretty good. He's walking people, and the manager looks at me and get in there and say something. So I run in from second base, and I'm going to say something. And he goes, "Seriously, who do I talk to? This is crazy." He was. The guy never came. A week later, he was gone. Gone again. A little different breed.
That's nutty. Oh, speaking of nutty, I need to ask, because Kurt, you mentioned something about UFOs the last time you were here. You saw something you could not explain, right? Not necessarily an alien craft, but you were up in the plane.
Yeah.
And now Goldie has spoken about an alien encounter a close encounter of the third kind.
Yeah, that's a little deeper.
She said she was in a car. She saw 2 or 3 triangular-shaped heads. They were silver in color, had slashes for mouths, tiny little nose, no ears, and they touched her face.
You see, when Jimmy Kimmel starts the story off with "she said," you're dicey from that moment on.
Had you heard this story before, you guys?
Yes.
You had?
Yes, that was a story that I've heard a few times.
And when Mom tells that story, how do you react?
It's true. My mom probably is like a being from outer space. It's true. I mean, look at her. She's 77 and looks like she's like 26. But it's like she has a lot of great stories like that, and you can't question them because
she has other stories like that.
Oh God, Mom's got a lot of
Well, yeah, they're
terrestrial stories.
Do you remember the first time, Kurt, she shared that story with you?
Actually, I was probably 3-4 days in. I don't know.
You're like, yeah, whatever. Have you seen? Is everyone in the family had a UFO experience?
I have. Yeah, I have. But it's really in the UFO. It's in the it was an unidentified flying object. I'm not going to say it was like I didn't see an alien pop out of there and like.
You weren't. Didn't touch your face.
No, nothing like weird happened.
Okay.
But what was great is that I have 5 people that can corroborate the story. All of my best friends were in Muskoka, about 2 hours north of Toronto.
Already shaky.
And it was late. But I saw across the lake. We were on a lake, and I saw across the lake, and I was like, "What the hell is that thing?" And it was just like talking. I think it's getting closer, and it's really slow. Talking. It's not a plane. And this is just me in my head. And then I go work up the courage to be like, "Okay, guys, everybody look that way. Do you see the lights coming towards us? Yeah, it's going really slow. Yeah, okay. It's not hearing any helicopter noise. It's definitely not a plane because a plane couldn't go that slow. And as it comes closer and closer and closer, everyone's now outside the porch looking at it, looking up, and it's so slow that it has to be a helicopter, but the noise was not like go, 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 go. The noise was that like whirring noise.
Wow.
Look up, 5 orange lights, boom, 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 and one in the middle. And just like went out, there's no airport within like 100 miles of where we were, and then it left, and we were all just like, that was.
Did you hear at any point, did you say hi to your mom? Wonderful skin. All right, we're going to take a break. Kurt and Wyatt Russell are here. Their show is Monarch, Legacy of Monsters. We'll be right back.
Some orders have come through. Security escort for a Japanese scientist.
Sorry, sir, a Japanese scientist?
This isn't a milk run, Lieutenant. We already lost a man on one of these escort missions a couple of months back. You will protect, observe, and report when and if able. Understood?
Understood, sir.
God, you're Hiroshi's boy. And you?
I'm Kate, Randa.
Of course you are.
That is Kurt and Wyatt Russell in Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, playing the same character at different stages of the character's life. The character's name is Lee Shaw.
Leland Lafayette Shaw III.
Oh, wow. Did you know that, Kurt?
Oh, I was I was big on that for a while. I didn't realize that was a real character name from Godzilla lore. But
When you guys are playing the same character as a young man, obviously you probably don't have any scenes together, or that will be kind of weird, I guess. Do you agree on what the character, you have to like go in beforehand and say, okay, here's what he's going to be like because we're playing the same guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. The part of what was really fun was getting to work on the pre-production stuff with my dad. It wasn't like on the set, on the fly. Everything has to be architected and made sure that you're playing the scenes the way that they need to be played, so that when they happen in the future, when things are informed for the future, you're playing the same character.
Right.
And it was really fun to be able to sit. I was at home. It was 11 p.m. in LA. He was in Europe, and he would get on Skype from a boat, or Skype, Zoom. I keep calling it Skype like I'm from the
People
70s.
use Skype, believe it or not.
They'd get on Zoom.
There's still people on MySpace, too.
Yeah, it's crazy. Let's bring it back. And we'd work together, and it was really exciting and fun, and we'd workshop ideas. But we knew that if we architected the script the right way, that it would be there if we just played the role of it.
Yeah, we had to work on the character because we were going to play the same guy.
Yeah,
it's
you
easy
can't
to
have
fall into the father-son thing, which we've been offered a lot of.
Have you? You have.
Yeah.
And you've not done.
No.
No, it's always been like low-hanging fruit. It's like
Yeah.
easy. It's like, of course,
Uh-huh.
This was an interesting new idea.
Uh-huh.
It was a chance to do something very different. I couldn't think of anybody who'd done a father and son that had done the same character.
Do you guys get paid separate salaries, or do you have to share one because you're playing the same character?
I'm scrounging for his. Your trailer's really
You love Godzilla, right? It's like the thing that you loved since you were a kid.
Yeah, I remember. I think I was 8 years old, 9 years old, first time I saw Godzilla, and it's one of the characters that I've seen in movies that completely stuck in my mind, never left. And so Godzilla. Wait a minute. Just before you, same character. It made a lot of sense to us, and
what's Godzilla like? Is he a cool guy? Do you guys enjoy working with
awesome.
him? Yeah.
he's hard to work with. Never hits his marks. He doesn't seem to care.
You can't understand a word he said. But it was great. And also, I got Matt Fraction and Chris Black, they were the showrunners of the show. They worked really well with us. I got to say publicly, at times we probably were very difficult trying to get it to a good place.
Oh, were you?
Well, it's 10 shows. It's like doing, each one's an hour long. So it's like doing 5 movies back to back to back to back to back. It's impossible. I don't know how they did it. I don't.
Right.
I mean, it's like, but yeah, you gotta work hard. I mean, you gotta go.
Do you ever watch Wyatt, your dad's old movies that he made when he was a kid? These are like the movies that I grew up on, like at this age. And you ever watch those films?
Yeah, totally. Computer Wore Tennis Shoes is a great movie. Just go through all the great Kurt Russell Disney.
There are some pictures I've seen of me in the past that I look more like Wyatt than I do now.
My son looks more like my father.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't show.
Here's something your dad said about children, because the thing is, could you be the girl for Kurt?
Oh wow.
Yeah. And they asked about children. He said, Kurt wants to get married young so he can enjoy his children and grow with them. He wants to groove with them and like the things they like.
Now you know why I didn't do a lot of that.
Are you guys grooving together?
There's a video that you may have played on the show. I'm not sure, but it's been
If
played.
not, we will.
It's a Disney After Dark, and he's singing Sugar Sugar. And as his son, I can feel the agony and pain, and it's like I've never seen anybody not want to be somewhere more than he was in that moment at that time. It made me feel for him.
I'm glad you guys are grooving together now. That's the important thing. Kurt and Wyatt Russell, Monarch, Legacy of Monsters premieres Friday on Apple TV+. Thanks for being here, guys. We'll be back with Juno Temple.